Welcome to the 2018 Camry 17CY Technical Introduction. My name is Bruce Biven and I'll be your presenter today. This video is very specifically talking about the introduction of Generation 17 calendar year 17CY telematics for the 2018 Camry. As you'll see in just a minute, the 2018 Camry is the very first 17CY vehicle that you guys will see, but it will roll out throughout the model line over the next couple of years. Because the Camry is the one that we have the most specific information about, this video will concentrate on Camry. This video also has a couple of new features. The video will be divided up into chapters based on the title cards that you'll see in the presentation. So if you want to go back and reference a specific section of the video, you'll be able to go chapter by chapter. Also, included in the package with this video is a student handbook, a downloadable, printable student handbook. I would strongly encourage you to download and print that handbook. There are references, extra information, things like that. On the slides, occasionally you'll see a small icon in the upper right-hand corner, an eye with a circle. That icon means that in the handbook, in the top right corner of the slide, is specific document references for documents on TIS, New Car Features Books, repair manual sections, EWDs, that will explore that particular subject in more detail. So if you look at the student handbook, enter that document number in the keyword search box on TIS, it will take you directly to the document that has the specific information about that subject. Let's begin. This slide shows that 17CY introduction is rolling out in phases. The first phase, which is not on this slide, was the Lexus LC500 and LC500H. That is the one and only Phase 1 car. 2018 Camry is the very first Phase 2 car, and Phase 2, in a minute, we'll talk about the features and things that are included in Phase 2 and Phase 3. You can see items in red on this particular slide. We are relatively sure of dates and features and functions. Items in black indicate that, yes, we intend to roll out 17CY across the model line over the next couple of years, but the actual dates, the actual models, those are subject to change. The items in red, we're really sure about how times and features and models on those. So you can see Camry in July of this year. Later on this year, Sienna will roll out, and then early next year, as a 2019 model, will be the Avalon. This is a quick summary of the features and phases. So you can see Phase 1 with the Lexus, handwriting input. Unfortunately, we will never get handwriting input as part of us. That depends upon the remote touch that Lexus uses for handwriting input. Free map update for 3 years. We're going to talk about that one in detail. That's a feature that's tied in with dynamic nav and dynamic POIs. Remote reprogramming is a possibility. How that's actually implemented is not defined right now. Wi-Fi hotspot. Camry. 2018 Camry is the first Lexus or Toyota vehicle that's going to have an onboard Wi-Fi hotspot. Hybrid voice recognition and hybrid navigation are two features that are part of the premium package, and we will again talk in detail about those. Smart Device Link is a Phase 3 feature that's rolling out, and it's similar to some of the Apple or Google car telematics programs that would let you add third-party applications to your cell phone and have them interface with the car. And then for us, Toyota Intune 3.0 App Suite is a new version of the App Suite that you're familiar with. This slide is a representation, this TQTG616AD, hopefully you're already all familiar with. This quick training guide we produced, and it's titled Intune Head Units. The update includes 2012 to 2018 model years, and we've had to make some minor changes to the formatting of the quick training guide to accommodate 17CY. So one of the things that we added, we have a calendar year by model page or tabs that you use to identify which system your particular car has by looking at the car model and the model year. So we broke this up. There's now two separate tabs, one for 2012 through 2015 and one for 2016 to 2018 model year vehicles. Camry and Camry HV are the ones we're talking specifically about, and it says those have a 17 CY system. There's now a dedicated page for 17CY characteristics, and luckily, we're still able to identify head units by specific physical characteristics on the head unit. So, first and foremost, one of the big issues is what system am I working on? By simply looking at the head unit and looking for the presence or absence of certain features, you can identify which one of the three different Intune 3.0 systems is included in this particular car. We're looking for a CD slot. Does it have a CD slot? If it has no CD slot, it's Intune 3.0 audio, the base system. If it has a CD slot but no map button, it's Intune 3.0 Audio Plus. And if it has a CD slot and a map button, it's Intune 3.0 Premium Audio. Similar to the way that the rest of the pages, the characteristics pages in the quick training guide are laid out, we talk about specific hardware features, specific unit names, information you need to make sure that you find the correct reference document in TIS, in the repair manual, in the new car features, in the wiring diagram. We talk about features and functions, hardware. Does it have a separate amplifier? Is the amplifier encased in the head unit? Here's a couple of new terms, DCU and MEU. You're going to have to learn those terms. We talk about whether they have HD radio, whether they have nav traffic, whether they have Sirius XM. So as a reference piece to figure out which system you have and what features and functions that system has, this is a very valuable reference piece. The updated version of the QTG will be posted to TIS probably about the time that this video becomes available. One of the very important things we need to talk about is the adoption of the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration guidelines based on visual and manual distraction. NHTSA has produced some guidelines, and Toyota is complying with those guidelines. So, visual manual distraction guidelines, they were published April 23rd, 2013. And the focus is on non-safety and infotainment type systems. Based on the guidelines, the Alliance of Automotive Manufacturers, Ford, GM, Chrysler, Toyota, 8 others follow that particular alliance. The benefit that NHTSA derives from this is they have a common set of guidelines that they expect all manufacturers to follow. And the implementation is set up like a lot of things at either a new or full model change starting with calendar year 2017 model year vehicles. So that means the 2018 model Camry is the first vehicle that we have. The impacts that you're going to see, Prius Prime, CHR, the Lexus LC, Camry full model change, and LS full model change are going to comply with these new guidelines. The exception is if we do a minor model change. So that means these new guidelines will roll out over the next couple of years. This is a corporate decision to follow these guidelines. The decision is based on reaffirming our commitment to safety, our top priority, and consistent with our design philosophy to limit cockpit distraction. So this was approved by the TMNA CEO, the TMNA president, the research and development president. This is approved and implemented at the very highest level. NHTSA driver distraction guidelines are, again, released in phases. Phase 1 involves the cockpit interface and the original equipment manufacturers. Phase 2 guidelines are related to portable electronic devices, and Phase 3 guidelines are related to voice commands. In the student handbook version of this, there is quite a bit of detail taken from the original NHTSA guidelines document. If you're interested in the background, some of the standards, how the tests are developed and things like that, I would recommend that you at least start with the student handbook, and you may even want to go refer to the original document for the guidelines. Our design standards mean that 3D maps, detailed images, the phone keypad, messaging, and text entry will no longer be available while the car is moving. The evaluation is done by a group of panelists, and we'll talk a little bit about selecting the panelists, how they define the tasks, what test methods they use, and some of the performance criteria as they work to minimize the distraction of using or operating the infotainment system in the car. Some of the key guidelines: we have to reduce the task time limit. So the previous task time limit was 20 seconds, now it's down to 12 seconds. No images or 3D maps when the gear shifter's out of park. Gear shifter's out of park, or the other criteria we use sometimes you'll see is the parking brake is off and the car is moving faster than 0.62 miles per hour. Increased scope of guidelines. So the guidelines are expanded to include the entire cockpit. Not only the stuff displayed on the information screen, the navigation screen, but the multi-information display between the tachometer and the speedometer is included. Climate screens, heads-up displays, and the idea is to minimize the distraction from the driving task. The lockout criteria have changed, and the most liberal lockout criteria is 5 miles per hour. At 5 miles per hour, icons, the ability to manipulate or go in deeper into levels and layers of menus will be locked out, and they have very stringent testing procedures and methodology established. In the handbook, there's a little bit more information. They have a method they call the occlusion method, and then they have a simulator that lets them track eye movements to make sure that during the operation of these different telematic systems tasks, that your eyes are able to remain on the road, focused on the driving task, versus glancing down at the screen to manipulate or operate. This next slide is a summary of changes in the specifications for driver distraction. And so there's what the 13.5 and 15CY systems did, and on the far right is the 17CY column. So album art, the little pictures that showed what the cover of the album looked like, or a radio station logo or things like that, they're going to disappear at 1 kilometer per hour, 0.62 miles per hour, to be replaced by a generic icon. Some of the scrolling features that we'll look at in detail, auto scrolling, information buttons, things like that, are going to no longer be available. They'll be grayed out at 62 miles an hour. Audio screen operations will be limited. Browsing lists will be limited. Additional information buttons will be limited. And track lists in album art will be limited. This is an example of album art and how the radio station's logos change as the car goes into motion. So in this, we see a AHA. AHA is a Harman application that combines music, news, all kinds of other information services, and compiles them and is available through your cell phone. AHA is not available yet, but probably will be. So we can see that in park, you can see the artwork for AHA, but as soon as the car starts driving, it's replaced by this generic icon, the musical note. The big X over the 3D maps that used to be available will no longer be available. Auto scrolling, if you were looking at radio station track information or something like that, and the text was too long, these auto scrolling buttons would be live, would be applicable, and you could push the button and have the text scroll over and you could read the full title of the album or whatever. Once the car starts moving again, parking brake off, speed greater than 0.62 miles per hour. Once the car starts moving, those buttons are grayed out and no longer active. Browse and additional information buttons. Used to be that there was a browse section, and in your particular audio source you could browse through and see the artist list, artist name, by genre, whatever. Once the car starts moving again, 5 miles an hour, that browse button is disabled. The additional information that would tell you about artist name, music title, radio station logos, and things like that, again at 5 miles per hour, that button is no longer available. There's a quick summary of the different level of pages you can go through in the apps that are on the Intune 3.0 app suite. So Pandora, Yelp, NPR One, fuel prices, iHeartRadio, Slacker Radio, sports, save destinations, stocks, and Wi-Fi sign up. As a side note, these two icons, Pandora and Slacker, will be slightly different on the 2018 Camrys you see. Both those applications have updated their icons, and the new Camry will match the new updated icons. In the table, you can see in Pandora, you can only go 2 pages deep in the results pages. Yelp is only 1 page deep. We have a good example of that. So what does the user experience for Yelp look like? This actual screenshots are from an LC500H, but they define the lockouts in Yelp. So we start up here, we press the menu button, we select apps, we select Yelp. We tell it we want to look at restaurants. This is as far as we can go. We can't scroll any farther than this when the car's moving. Once you stop the car, yes, you can, but until you stop the car, you won't be able to scroll any deeper than this first page that comes up. From this first page, you could select a particular destination and have it sent to the navigation system. But if the destination you're interested in is not on the first page, you're going to have to stop the car to scroll any deeper into that. The audio experience, audio apps, Pandora, iHeart, Slacker, NPR. Again, I'm going to select the app. I'm going to select a station. I'm going to get one page of results, and I can only pick my result from that first page of results. Remember, these are all NHTSA guidelines that we're complying with. And probably one of the key thoughts is included in the handbook text on this page. The entire 17CY apps, app functionality and all that stuff is very much into state of flux right now. And the best, as always, as usual, is going to be a car-to-car comparison. You may have a question from a customer who had a previous generation system, and their concern is that I used to be able to do this particular function, and I can no longer do that on my new Camry. And again, it's because of the NHTSA visual and manual distraction guidelines. This is a chapter change. Again, in the chapter indexes, if you want to jump to this particular chapter, you will be able to jump directly. And in this chapter, there are a lot of those references that you'll see in the upper right-hand corner of the slide that we've been talking about. If you want to delve into depth on that particular system, those are the new car features book, the repair manual, the EWD pages that you'll be looking for. We will talk about why those references are necessary. The names used in the repair manual, the new car features book, and the EWD are not necessarily intuitive, and it can be difficult to make sure you are looking at the right reference material before you dig in and try and diagnose or learn more about a system. The first system we're going to talk about is Intune 3.0 audio. It's the base system, and notice the little I in the upper right-hand corner. The definitive reference for features, functions, equipment, things like that is the new car features book, and in your student handbook, there's a reference number that will take you directly to that document. The key identification for Intune 3.0 audio is it has a 7-inch touchscreen and no CD slot. If you're looking at the dash of a 2018 Camry, there's a 7-inch touchscreen and no CD slot. You're looking at Intune 3.0 audio. Key repair manual and EWD terminology is included in your student handbook. The head unit is known as a radio and display receiver assembly. That's a very important keyword. You want to look for that in the documents you're looking at. If the reference identifies the head unit as something different than a radio and display receiver assembly, you're looking at the wrong document. The audio amplifier is incorporated in the head unit, and the head unit itself now has a new piece of terminology that becomes important in diagnostics. It's called a DCU, Display Control Unit. So the head unit, the DCU, incorporates the audio amplifier, and Pioneer is the supplier for this particular unit. This unit and this unit only. Intune 3.0 audio, as the base system, does not have some of the features included in the upper level systems, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. This system does not have a DCM, a data communications module, a telematics transceiver, as they call it in the repair manual, and that means that the connected services, Safety Connect, Service Connect, Remote Connect, all the other connected services that we're going to talk about are not available. It does not have HD radio. What it does have is AM/FM radio. It's a 6-speaker system. It runs the full Intune 3.0 app suite, Bluetooth hands-free calling and audio system. Weather and traffic information, incident information is available. It comes in through an app on the cell phone that's paired to the system. There are USB and aux inputs. Voice recognition, training and tutorials are included. Siri's Eyes Free and Google Now are incorporated. There are moving maps and navigation available on this system, but this is done through an app on the cell phone called Scout GPS Link. We'll talk about the tethering requirements, Scout GPS Link, in a while. Some of the new features that are included in manipulating the system are pinch and zoom, scroll and swipe. So maybe more intuitive, maybe more like you would operate your cell phone. And it does have a customizable home screen. Intune 3.0 audio system configuration. This diagram, courtesy of our friends at Pioneer, is a block diagram, and it's kind of important for you guys because it talks about the features and functions, what's contained in the head unit, and how it communicates with the outside world. So starting at the top corner, the backup camera is a direct input on this system. The amplifier is located inside the DCU, and so direct output to the speakers. Digital or DSP, digital signal processing, is included. SoC stands for System on a Chip. That's the main chip that does all the audio processing and everything else. CAN communication out to the meter ECU, 7-inch display. The Bluetooth module and the antenna are located inside the DCU, so Bluetooth connection with the cell phone. Customer's audio device connects either to the aux or the USB port. All of these items, plus B, ACC, the ignition, ground, the illumination, reverse, speed, the parking brake signal, those are all discrete, separate, single wire inputs to that system. The steering wheel switches are a separate single wire input, and AM, FM antenna and sub antenna are outside inputs. Hardware, 7-inch screen incorporated into this large piece of the dash, and this system only, has a separate air conditioning control panel assembly. On the next two systems we're going to look at, the air conditioning control panel assembly is part of the radio and display receiver. There's no DCM, so we won't be pointing out where that's located. There's no navigation ECU, that's part of the premium system. This system diagram came from the New Car Features book, and unfortunately, this diagram in the New Car Features book combines both Intune 3.0 and 3.0 Plus. So the things you have to do, if you go back and look at this one, is you have to ignore the DCM input that's blocked out right here in this graphic. But all the inputs that we looked at on the previous block diagram are included here. And again, this is a key identification thing, radio and display receiver assembly. Notice they identify it right here as radio and display receiver assembly. Stepping up to Audio Plus now, Intune 3.0 Audio Plus is the next level system up. This system adds some features and functionality. It incorporates a DCM, and the connected services become available. The key identification characteristics: it has a CD player slot, but it has no map button. That means that's Intune 3.0 audio. 3.0 audio is also available with an optional JBL system. We'll talk a little bit about that. Keys to identify: 8-inch touchscreen, CD player slot. It is DCM equipped, so the connected services, Safety Connect, Service Connect, and those services are available. The navigation system is, again, the app-based Scout GPS Link. So Intune 3.0 audio does not have HD radio. So you don't get HD radio traffic and weather. You get traffic incidents and weather forecasts that come from an app that's part of the Intune 3.0 app suite. The features it does have: it has a DCM, it has the data communications module, the telematics transceiver is what it's called in the repair manual in the New Car Features book. It has an AM/FM radio, and it has Sirius XM also. 6 speakers. If you get the JBL option, it goes up to 9 speakers. Intune App Suite 3.0 is part of it. Bluetooth hands-free calling and audio, of course. USB aux inputs, voice recognition, training and tutorials, Siri's Eyes Free, Google Now, the features that were included with 3.0 audio. Movie map navigation, important detail on that one you'll see later on in the presentation to make the moving maps work. Pinch and zoom, and again, a customizable home screen. This system comes from Panasonic, and our friends at Panasonic provided us with this handy block diagram. And once again, this is an important one. This is one that you'll probably want to look at in detail in the student handbook, and because it shows what features and functions are contained within what piece of hardware and how those pieces of hardware communicate with each other. So in this one, again, that term, DCU, Display Control Unit. We've got the DCU, CD, AM, FM, HD radio, Sirius XM, aux, the USB inputs, the Bluetooth, and the Wi-Fi antenna are incorporated in the DCU. Remember the separate air conditioning amplifier or air conditioning control panel we pointed out in the first system? Now that's part of this DCU. 8-inch display, so 1-inch bigger display, in-tune voice recognition, the Bluetooth features and functions, and Wi-Fi, which we'll talk about. The DCM is the component that enables the Wi-Fi. So our inputs, once again, radio antennas, steering wheel switches, the aux jack, and again, plus B, accessories, ground, illumination, reverse signal, those are all discrete, separate wire inputs. Backup camera is a separate input, not through a network, through the NTSC standard. Speakers, we've got a local CAN to the meter, we've got CAN communication out to the air conditioner ECU, USB communication between the DCM and the DCU. Going from Intune 3.0 Audio Plus, our next slide is a system diagram for the JBL option, and probably the key piece right here is the external amp. The JBL option systems have an external amplifier that's located under the driver's seat. Again, the characteristics, the inputs, the outputs are similar, but instead of driving the speakers directly out of an amplifier located inside the DCU, we're driving the speakers out of an external amp located underneath the seat. JBL systems include 9 speakers. Hardware. Again, we've got the big panel in the dash that includes the multi-display backed up behind or incorporated into the same unit, the DCU, the display control unit, and notice that the air conditioning input panel is not a separate piece in this system anymore. Same block diagram you saw before, except this time we didn't block out the DCM, the data communications module, the telematics transceiver, and highlighted in red here are the USB control and sound signals that pass back and forth between the DCU, the display control unit, and the DCM, the data communications module. Very top level system, Intune 3.0 Premium Audio. Key identification characteristics for this are a CD slot and a map button. This system adds an extra component and becomes much more like the traditional navigation systems that you're used to now. So, CD slot, map button, you've got an Intune 3.0 Premium Audio. It has a DCM, it has all the connected services, plus the DCM enables the dynamic voice recognition, the dynamic navigation, and the other things we're going to talk about in detail. AM/FM cache radio, 8-inch touch screen, and highlighted in red down here, dynamic voice recognition, dynamic navigation, dynamic POI search, destination assist connect. All those things, all those dynamic terminologies mean not only are you looking or doing a POI search at the information contained within the navigation ECU, but using the Verizon 4G LTE cell phone built into the DCM, the system is able to go out to cloud-based servers and match up updated maps, updated voice recognition, other voice recognition samples. So there's quite a big step in capability when you go to the 3.0 Premium Audio system. Our block diagram shows that this particular model has this new feature. This is the key part of this diagram. This is another new term, MEU, Multiplex Extension Unit. The reason it's important that you remember or know about MEU is when we get to the diagnostics section. If you pull up the on-screen, the head unit diagnostics, they're going to identify the units using this terminology. If you're looking for diagnostic trouble codes, if it's in the head unit, it's going to be listed under the DCU category. If it's in the navigation ECU, it's going to be listed under the MEU, the Multiplex Extension Unit. Discrete inputs, again, like we talked about, plus B, ACC, auxiliary jack, USB communication, again, and there's 2 kind of signals that go back and forth between the MEU and the DCU. The MEU and the DCU talk back and forth on one, a USB 2.0 line, the other, GVIF, Gigabit Video Interface. the video images that show up on the display, the 8-inch display in the DCU, are transferred from the navigation ECU via GVIF, a GVIF cable. It's a separate unit. We'll look at the location also. And then notice also now there's a communication link USB 2.0 between the DCM and the MEU. Intune 3.0 premium hardware. Very difficult to see because it's tucked underneath the radio, but the DCM is in the same location in 3.0 Audio Plus and 3.0 Premium, and the additional unit piggybacked onto the bottom of the DCU is the navigation ECU, the MEU. The audio amplifier, this system has JBL like the Audio Plus with JBL, and the audio amplifier is located underneath the driver's seat. System diagram on this one, we've zoomed in a little bit on because it's very big. If you want to look at the full system diagram, again, remember that the repair manual, new car features book references are included in the printed handbook. We've highlighted USB control and sound signals between the radio and display receiver and the MEU and the gigabit video interface. And then again, the USB 2.0 control signals between the nav ECU and the DCM. This slide is included as a reference slide because unfortunately the terminology in the repair manual and the wiring diagram is not necessarily intuitive. And so if you're looking at an Intune 3.0 audio system, which you identified by the physical characteristics using the quick training guide, if you're looking at Intune 3.0 audio unit, in the new car features book, the documents you want to concentrate on are 2018 model year Camry, 03 2017 through 06 2017. These cars were produced first. The premium audio system came about 3 months later, and unfortunately that's how they identify the difference between the two. That's how you find the correct part of the repair manual. Repair manual, again, the same terminology. In the EWD, you're looking under audio system with the built-in type amplifier. If it's Audio Plus, again, 3 2017 through 6 2017, built-in amplifier. When you step up to Audio Plus with JBL, you have to change the sections of the repair manual and the new car features book you look at. Now you're interested in 2018 model year Camry, 06 2017-Infinity, and the wiring diagram changes to audio system separate type amplifier. Same set of characteristics for Intune 3.0 audio. The reason that it's important to know those terms, DCU and MEU, is that, again, they're used in diagnostics, and here's a little bit about the reasoning and the physical construction. So the MEU, we used to call the navigation ECU, we probably still will, and the MEU operates the navigation system, the voice recognition function for dynamic voice recognition, and is the control center for communication services going out through the DCM. The radio and display receiver assembly, the DCU, audio system, the audio tuner, vehicle customized functions, and in the upper 2 level systems, air conditioning screens. Diagnosis screen on the multi-display calls what we call the navigation ECU an MEU, multimedia extension unit. Diagnosis screens on the multi-display, radio and display receiver assembly is called a DCU, a display control unit. DCU and MEU, a little bit of information pop-ups. Because the information technology related to the DCM and related to navigation changes much faster than the audio system technology, they've separated them into 2 different units to make it easier to update the MEU independently versus the DCU. The previous generation, 13, 13.5, and 15CY, called this head unit on the diagnosis screens AVN, Audio, Visual, and Navigation, an F10 term. But now, if you're looking at diagnosis screens, you need to know the term DCU. In the diagnostic screens, you can see here, system check mode says the DCU is okay. In the previous version, that would have said AVN. There's a storage check, and there's storage in both devices on the premium system. the storage check, DCU storage check, and then there's also an MEU check for MEU storage. The pop-up explains a little bit more. 13135CY, the only storage device was the SD card embedded or built into the slot or available. And in 15CY in the premium system, there's storage in both devices, both the DCU and the MEU. The text in the handbook says, "This is not a Tyrannosaurus Rex about to eat the CVT Operations Center in Lewisville, Texas." This drawing is intended to show that pinch and zoom features are available, and scroll and swipe features are also available all the way, all three different units. On the radio status bar, there's some new added icons for the Wi-Fi system and other that are important ones to monitor to see about signal strength, communication status, and things like that. This icon, icon number 1, the word DCM, says that the DCM, the Verizon 4G LTE cell phone located inside the DCM, is communicating with the Verizon network. Second icon, icon number 2, is signal strength for that particular cell phone. We've got the traditional customer cell phone signal strength, customer's battery level, Bluetooth, and this last icon, the one on the far right, shows that the Wi-Fi hotspot is active and is communicating with wireless clients inside the car. Next up, we're going to go into DCM-equipped remote services. Safety Connect, Service Connect, Remote Connect, Wi-Fi Connect, Destination Assist Connect, Dynamic Navigation, and Dynamic Voice Recognition. DCM-equipped cars are enabled for remote services. The remote services are based on cellular communication through that Verizon 4G LTE cell phone that's built into the DCM. This particular image came from a Lexus document, but this is the best image that talks conceptually about how this works. So the radio and display receiver is connected to the DCM. The cell phone in the DCM can go out to application servers, different content providers. When we talk about dynamic voice recognition, if the voice recognition software in the car can't recognize the command that you've asked for, like Siri, like Google Now, like some of the other voice command systems, the DCM in the car can go out to these cloud-based servers and try and match your voice command. Map updates, dynamic commute, all these other features are enabled, so we have multiple layers and levels of communication going on. We have the customer cell phone via Bluetooth communicating with the DCU for the Intune app suite. Little preview, if you want full moving maps on Scout GPS Link, you will end up with your phone tethered via the USB connection. And then the telephone in the DCM enables the system also to go out and pick up information from cloud-based servers and other content providers. So what does it cost and how long are the trials? Intune 3.0, Safety Connect, Service Connect, Remote Connect, and Wi-Fi Connect are 4, there's more features, but are 4 of the features. And so Safety Connect is a 3-year trial period projected. At the end of that 3 years, if you want to continue with Safety Connect, $80 a year as you sign up for the further. Service Connect is interlaced, interconnected, and you have to have both Safety Connect and Service Connect operating at the same time. They're combined in the subscription. Remote Connect is a feature that lets you start your car, check vehicle status, geofence your car, do custom driver alerts, several other things through your cell phone. The trial for Remote Connect is 6 months. After that, $80 per year projected. Wi-Fi Connect, you can connect up to 5 client devices to the Wi-Fi hotspot located inside the Camry. The trial period for that is 2 gigabytes of data used within the first 6 months of ownership. At the end of that, there's pop-ups and other methods that we'll talk about, and you'll be offered the opportunity to sign up with Verizon to continue your Wi-Fi service if you like it. Scout GPS Link, it's part of the Intune app suite. It has to be downloaded separately. For the first 3 years, that's the trial period, $24 per year after that. Dynamic navigation is only on the premium system. And if you like the dynamic navigation functions at the end of the 3-year trial period, TBD. They haven't quite decided yet on the method and cost of how that dynamic navigation is going to be updated. Another chapter break, Safety Connect. This is a system that you're probably a little bit familiar with already. Again, only the DCM equipped cars. So Intune 3.0 Audio Plus and Intune Premium Audio are the cars that have Safety Connect available. Automatic collision notification, airbag deployment, emergency assistance. I can reach up and push the SOS button and talk to an operator. Stolen vehicle locator, you have to file a police report. And roadside assistance. I have a flat tire, I need to be towed, things like that. This is manageable through this 800 support number, and this is probably one of the first examples of things you're going to see multiple times in this presentation. Not necessarily a technical feature of the system, not necessarily a piece of information you are absolutely required to know, but in your position as field technical specialist, you field calls that these little individual pieces of knowledge are valuable for. Another reason to keep in mind to print the reference book or whatever, there are many slides later on in this presentation that we'll talk about that are reference pieces intended for your use to understand, well, no, that system has to be both registered, authorized, and initialized before that system works. We're jumping to Service Connect. Again, only the DCM equipped. Audio Plus and Premium Audio are the two systems that have Service Connect. This is an all-new system for Toyota. This is a system that we're going to spend some time on because there's some features that, very valuable features, but could also potentially cause some customer concerns. All new to Toyota, it's been a partial function feature of Service Connect has been in Lexus for about a year. Full feature Service Connect just started with the LC. So the idea is the vehicle is going to communicate through the DCM with servers that store the data, and that data becomes accessible to technicians at the dealership and other people. If you have a MIL illumination, the freeze frame data will become available because it'll be transmitted through the DCM. The customer can receive a monthly vehicle health report on a scheduled broadcast, or the customer can receive those on demand. It does require a Safety Connect, an active Safety Connect subscription to work, and it's an opt-in service. You can opt out if you don't want to have either Safety Connect or Service Connect. Service Connect, vehicle health report, vehicle mileage, smart key battery status, engine oil quantity, vehicle maintenance alerts. If it's time for an oil change, the system will transmit that data. That data is accessible to the dealer and transmit vehicle alerts and warnings on the head unit and to the customer. You can establish a preferred dealer, and with a preferred dealer established, if a vehicle maintenance alert pops up, there's a button that shows up on the screen that will let you call the dealer and set up your service appointment while you're driving down the road. So there's a couple of different kinds of transmitted data via Service Connect. Ignition on, we've got to qualify that a little bit. Ignition on plus about 10 minutes. So about 10 minutes after ignition on, the DCM has gathered a whole bunch of data from the car, and it broadcasts that data or transmits that data to some storage servers, and if there's relevant information, it becomes available via TIS or via service lane. So at ignition on data, MIL on data, if the check engine light came on in the previous drive cycle, the MIL on, the freeze frame data will be transmitted about 10 minutes into the drive cycle. Maintenance alerts, maintenance required, engine oil required, engine oil maintenance, a maintenance alert, and the freeze frame data and DTCs for over 100 DTCs. Service Connect system also broadcasts data about 1 minute after ignition off. This is just regular housekeeping maintenance data. About 1 minute after ignition off, it transmits a timestamp, the odometer reading, the current fuel level, and the contents of Trip A and Trip B odometers. This is a 3-year complimentary trial, and if you opt into Service Connect and establish a preferred dealer, you have the option, if you get a vehicle alert, either a maintenance alert or an MIL on type alert, there's a button that pops up on the screen to call the dealer. You can call the dealer, and the information about your particular alert will be available to the dealer, and you'll be able to establish an appointment, consult about what the nature of the problem is or things like that. So for a preferred dealer, you have to register for this system. Registration ensures that you've selected a preferred dealer, and then the customer can update their preferred dealer. If they decide they don't like dealer A, they can go into their Toyota owner's account and update to a different preferred dealer. The call dealer functionality managed from the head unit. So the head unit pops up display messages that you have a vehicle alert, a maintenance alert, some other kind of alert, and the customer or the dealer can enter or update the phone number in the head unit if the dealer phone number changes, if you change dealers. The functionality, the actual call, if you choose to call the dealer, that call is placed through the Bluetooth paired customer's cell phone, not through the DCM. The data is transmitted through the DCM, but the call dealer alert function or the actual call happens through the Bluetooth connection. Screen we stole from Lexus, Lexus Informed Diagnostics activation. So there are multiple steps or phases to getting both Safety Connect, Service Connect, and almost all the other connected services and Intune apps to work. Number one is you have to register. So online, on a mobile device, we have some slides later on, online or on a mobile device, the customer has to create an account and register for these services. And then once you've registered for the services, when you go into the car, you have to activate the service in the car. So customers registered for Toyota Service Connect. It says, are you sure you want to activate Toyota Informed Diagnostics? And you get to make the choice. You can say yes or no. And in fact, if you just ignore the screen, after about 10 minutes of driving, because you indicated by registering and opting in that you were interested in Service Connect, after about a 10-minute drive cycle, Service Connect will activate automatically. These are sample screens for different vehicle alerts. Again, remember, only DCM-equipped cars. So Intune 3.0 Audio Plus and Premium Audio are the two vehicles that are capable of this. We have a vehicle alert. It says a malfunction in the electronic control of the engine throttle. This is like a DTC, a check engine light. The head unit's going to pop up information like this. This is a vehicle alert. Washer fluid level is low. A maintenance alert would look similar or whatever. By touching the call dealer, the number that you programmed in will, through the customer's cell phone, call the dealer. Play button basically reads the verbiage in the owner's manual about the nature of this particular alert and the interest level the customer should have. If you press OK, the alert will disappear. Maintenance alerts are available to both the customer and the preferred dealer, and so the dealer gets maintenance notifications. It allows the dealer to proactively contact the customer. In theory, someone at the dealership could monitor maintenance alerts. Maintenance alerts can be assigned to specific service consultants, to ASMs, things like that, and the dealer can access customer maintenance alerts via the alert screen on Service Lane. Time to do a little commercial. Also in production is a Technician Service Connect module, which explains in detail for technicians. It's called TE306A, Introduction to Toyota Service Connect. Displays in detail how the technician will go in through TIS, enter a VIN, and access the different alert information, and also explains how a service consultant and the service alert screen can be seen. So as a basic background, the product marketing side is also doing training for ASMs and things like that. But as background, I would recommend that you take a look at TEC306A to become aware, even for your own use, that this information is available even though the car hasn't visited the dealership yet. You can still see the freeze frame data. You can still know the code that's set that caused the check engine light to come on. Customer alerts. What does a customer see when there's an alert with the car? They see maintenance dash warning lights, and then the head unit notification comes up. The warning light pops up. The notification on the head unit says low washer fluid level. So no more of that. What does that symbol on the dash mean? I don't know. It's a light on the dash, but I don't know what it means. Notification of the vehicle condition is displayed on the head unit. Email is sent to the customer. So the customer's email account. Husband is out driving and the wife's at home. Husband can call the wife on the cell phone and say, hey, look for an email to tell what this particular alert is about. And then there's a vehicle health report they can trigger, and maintenance information. If they push that play button, the information that's in the owner's manual will be read to them so they can understand, what does that warning light mean? What's the severity of this? This information is available from your desktop or laptop computer via a vehicle health report. Vehicle health reports happen monthly on a scheduled basis. They're also available on demand. There's also an app for your cell phone that you can go in and look at results. Vehicle requires service, has 4 unresolved alerts. We estimate that you're 450 miles to empty, and your smart key battery status shows that the battery status is on. So multiple pieces of information available through the Service Connect system. This is probably, for you, the most important slide in this presentation. A vehicle that has an active Service Connect subscription is capable of transmitting malfunction alerts all the time. That means if they bring the car in for service and do something that causes a DTC, causes a warning light, causes anything else, the customer is going to receive an email that says, your car has this issue, that issue, or whatever. It's very important that you understand, it's very important you pass along to the folks at the dealership. If the car has an active Service Connect subscription, when you bring that car in, if you're going to do any kind of service work that potentially involves creating a warning light or a diagnostic trouble code, that you follow these steps. You need to put the vehicle in service mode. To put the vehicle in service mode, to prevent false malfunction transmissions, connect the TechStream to DLC. 3, launch the TechStream software, select Connect to Vehicle. You have to continue on, go through and set the relevant options, press the Next button, and wait till the TechStream has finished that communication link-up process. Once that link-up process is done, the vehicle is in service mode. It will not transmit vehicle alerts to the customer's vehicle health report. They won't be available for the customer, and it will continue to remain in service mode until you perform this operation on the head unit. That means the TechStream doesn't have to be connected to the car all the time. Once you put it into service mode, you can disconnect the TechStream, use it on some other car or whatever. At the end of that process, when you're all done, the technician's driving it out to park it in the parking lot or driving it out to get washed or whatever's going to happen to it. He's done. Everything that he's going to potentially do to the car is done. When you turn the ignition on to drive that car out of your stall, you will see this pop-up message on the head unit. And it says, the vehicle is in service mode. Would you like to select OK to complete service mode and return to normal operation? If the technician does not do this operation, the customer will see this screen. That'll be sure to provoke some questions. If the technician says, yes, okay, let's exit service mode, the system returns to normal operation. We'll broadcast malfunction alerts, all the vehicle alerts, all the other things. Worst case scenario, the customer forgets to put, or the technician forgets to put the car in service mode, does some sort of operation that creates a DTC or causes a warning light to come on. Customer picks their car up from service, drives home and finds an email waiting for them that says, your car is broken. So again, very critical. Technicians are going to have to learn to watch out. 2018 Camry is the first car that has this functionality. It'll give them a good break-in period, but 2018 Camry, system identification is important. Only 3.0 Audio Plus and 3.0 Premium Audio have this function. So if a technician pulls in a car with 3.0 Audio Plus or 3.0 Premium Audio, probably the best bet is just make the assumption they have an active Service Connect subscription. If they were curious, you can go on Service Lane and find out if they have an active subscription. But probably just better, grab the text stream, connect it up, do the process, let it get all the way through to the screen that tells you it's connected to the car, take the text stream away and do whatever with it. At the end of the process, don't forget to push OK and exit service mode. And that means that the car will not generate false malfunction transmissions. The customer won't receive a false malfunction vehicle alert, and the service process will go smoothly. From service mode, we're going to take a look at the next of the connected services, Remote Connect. And please remember, this is only the DCM equipped cars, Audio Plus, and Premium Audio. Remote Connect is a feature that enables you to perform multiple functions, status checks, remote starts, and all that using your cell phone, your personal cell phone, the app on your cell phone, to communicate with the DCM in the car and do these different functions. Remote engine start and stop, remote door lock and unlock, a vehicle finder, vehicle status alerts, and you can program guest driver alerts into the vehicle. We'll look at each one of those in a little bit of detail. This is a brand new feature for Toyota. Remote Connect comes with a 6-month complimentary trial. The phone does not need to be paired Bluetooth with the car to use this function. There are stories about people using Remote Connect to start their car from across the country or unlock their car from their cars in LA and they unlocked it from New York. The app does support automatic sign-in, and Toyota owner's credentials are what you use to sign in. The 4 basic features: engine start, vehicle finder, vehicle status, and guest driver monitor. Remote Connect lets you start or stop your engine remotely. You call up the app on your cell phone, you press the start button, and within about 10 seconds, your car starts up. Your car will run for 10 minutes. You can restart it once for a total of 20 minutes. After that, it won't let you restart. It won't start if the doors are not locked, and if someone opens the door, it'll stop. If someone happened to be sitting inside the car and pressed the brake pedal, the engine again would shut off, and you can turn the engine off remotely. So if you wanted to warm your car up, precondition it with the climate control, it's cold outside and I'm going to let the heater warm the car up, it's hot outside and I'm going to let the air conditioner cool the car off, you can use your cell phone for the remote start. Door unlock and lock. I can't remember if I locked my doors. I can use my cell phone and make sure that my doors are locked with a status alert, or I can lock them. I can unlock the doors remotely in case I wanted to let someone into the car to pick up the bag they left in the car or whatever. Status check. I can't remember if I locked the doors. Well, the status check will tell you about the status of the doors, the windows, the hood, the sunroof, the trunk. Can't remember how much gas I had in the car. Do I need to stop at the gas station? Fuel level is displayed, and if someone says, well, how many miles are on your car right now? You can use a status alert and call up the odometer mileage and answer their question. After a hard day of shopping, when you come out of the mall and can't remember where you left your car, Vehicle Finder will show you the location of the car when you turned it off, its last known position. Doesn't track a moving vehicle. Location is based on the GPS location, because the DCM, in addition to its cell phone, has a built-in GPS, and the location is based on the location of the car at the last key off cycle. If you're going to loan your car to somebody, we have a guest driver function. So you can get alerts about your vehicle. You can set limits on speed. You can set a time curfew. You can set a limit on the number of miles driven. You can have a alert if the ignition goes on. You can set an area limit, a geofence, or a time limit. So if you wanted to loan your car, if you wanted to check and see what the valet did with your car while you were in the restaurant, you can use the guest driver function of Remote Connect to track that. In addition to the registration process for Remote Connect, because there's an online registration process, once you've done that, Intune 3.0 Remote Connect must authenticate and initialize your services via the head unit, via the display screen. So, Apps button, Communications, Remote Services, And in your authorization that you did online, you get a 6-character authorization code. You have to enter that authorization code, hit submit, and now your vehicle has been successfully authenticated or authorized for Remote Connect service. The next feature is brand new in the Toyota model lineup, brand new, not even Lexus has it yet. It's called Wi-Fi Connect. Again, 3.0 Audio Plus and 3.0 Premium Audio are the only ones that have this particular feature because, again, it relies on the DCM. Turns your vehicle into a Wi-Fi hotspot. Connects to entertainment with Wi-Fi, so it's powered by the 4G LTE Verizon phone. You can connect up to 5 devices. Existing Verizon customers can add the device to their existing plan, or you'll be offered the option, if you decide you like to use the Wi-Fi, to establish an account with Verizon and add up. Complimentary subscription, 2 gigabytes of data to be used within the first 6 months of ownership or the complimentary trial period. Similar to Remote Connect, you have to turn on the vehicle hotspot. So the hotspot is not defaulted on, it has to be turned on. And so if you have an active account or you're in your trial period and you want to use the Wi-Fi inside the car, you got to select the menu button, select Setup, scroll down, select Wi-Fi. Once the multimedia is connected to the internet, screen alerts the customer that the hotspot is discoverable, like it shows in item 6 here. When you've used up your 2 gigabytes of data within the first 6 months, there's a couple of different things, or a couple of different ways to connect up with Verizon. Wi-Fi sign up is an option on the Intune app suite. Wi-Fi sign up screen lets you either dial a number and talk to a Verizon rep to add the Wi-Fi hotspot to your existing Verizon account or to establish a Verizon account. You can also do it online. Verizon will need this ID number that exists in the lower left corner of the Wi-Fi sign-up screen. And the only place that number is available is on the lower left corner of the Wi-Fi sign-up screen. Destination Assist Connect, only Intune 3.0 Premium Audio. This is a higher level function. These cars are equipped with the MEU, the navigation ECU, and Destination Assist adds features and functionality to the onboard navigation system. One of the functions is called Destination Assist Connect. And so the opportunity to connect with a live operator, have that live operator help you with locating a point of interest, a business name, something within, I want to find a Chinese restaurant within 5 miles, an address, a city or a state. Once you've established that, yes, that's where I want to go, the agent can send the navigation information to the head unit of the car, and the navigation system will take you to the destination that you've chosen working together with the agent. Another feature for 3.0 Premium is called Dynamic Navigation. Dynamic Navigation adds a couple of different layers of functionality. One, it provides the most up-to-date map. One of the issues with navigation systems is the customer says, I'm going to my friend's house, it's a new development and it's not on the map. Because of the ability with the DCM to go out to cloud-based servers, the system will pull down updated maps and store them in the car, up to 50 megabytes of data, you'll see in a minute. Dynamic POI search. Again, you're not limited to just the POIs that are stored in the navigation system. Cloud-based server, POI search, we'll look at a couple of examples of those in a slide or two. Dynamic voice recognition and nav. This particular slide has 2 big red boxes on it for a reason. This one again came from a Lexus presentation, but it's the best representation we have. If you go to the document in the Lexus presentation, underneath here is a picture of a handheld cell phone. Underneath here is wording that says cellular phone. These 2 boxes are here on purpose. This function is not based on the customer's handheld cell phone. It is based on the cell phone in the DCM. That's why these 2 boxes are here, to block those images out to make this graphic clearer. So I'm going to use voice recognition, and do a voice search. First place it's going to go is to the onboard navigation system and look at the POI categories or look for the address or do things like that. If that doesn't produce the results, the system is capable via the cell phone and the DCM of going out to the different cloud-based servers, trying to match up your voice recognition, trying to match up a POI that may be new, different, better fits the category that you're looking for. Dynamic navigation features. There's a notice here that says you've received a dynamic route. We'll talk about dynamic route, but the dynamic navigation features mean that you always have the most updated maps, and again, using the cell phone in the DCM takes into account traffic alert, cloud-based information, and something they call sometimes one-box POI search, which is an enhanced POI, point of interest search, again, based on more than just the POIs that are stored in the onboard map. This is an example of dynamic navigation. The standard navigation map does not include, because the map is older and the area here has been built up now, because you have dynamic navigation on your 3.0 premium system, it'll check the integrated map, the map that's built into the system, against cloud-based maps and download the new and updated information and store it on board in the car. There's a 50 megabyte limit to the amount of information that can be stored. At 50 megabytes, the oldest data rolls out and the newest data rolls in. Dynamic routes take into account the new roads that are built up, and this little cloud icon is important to find out if dynamic route is turned on and active and the system has based your route on updated cloud-based information, this cloud icon shows up. So for this one, around the north side of Dallas, the quick route, the short route, and the alternate route are all based on the newest, most updated information. Dynamic POIs. When dynamic navigation is off, you are searching the POI, the point of interest database that's stored in the navigation ECU. When dynamic navigation is on, you are also going to off-board cloud-based servers. And so identical searches, notice they're only 3 minutes apart. The difference between the search results on these two is that dynamic navigation is off and we're basing on the stored map. Dynamic navigation is on and we get more choices, closer choices, and a wider variety of choices based on our restaurant search. To turn dynamic routing on, there's some steps involved. Setup, scroll down until you find navigation. You have to go into detailed Navi settings and you have to turn on dynamic route. It's not on by default. App Suite Connect is our next subject. App Suite Connect is the Intune 3.0 app suite that is on the customer's phone and communicates with the head unit. Because this is App Suite Connect, it's available on all 3 levels of the system. Intune 3.0 Audio, 3.0 Audio Plus, and 3.0 Premium Audio. 3.0 Audio and Audio Plus are capable of displaying traffic incident information and weather forecasts. Their data source is through an app in the Intune app suite. So they can display traffic incidents based on your current location. You can change your current location or you can refresh the list. 3.0 Audio and Audio Plus Weather, again, based on current location. You can change your location. You can have it display in centigrade or Fahrenheit, today's weather, or a forecast. Remember, the data source for this comes in through the customer's cellular phone via an app on the Intune app suite. When we talk about premium audio, different data source for weather and traffic information. Premium audio uses the HD radio built into the head unit, the DCU, as its data source and overlays that traffic information on the map that comes from the integrated navigation. If you don't have integrated navigation, like with the 3.0 Premium, the other 2 units, 3.0 Audio and 3.0 Audio Plus offer you an app-based, full moving map type navigation application. It's called Scout GPS Link, standard on Intune 3.0 Audio, 3.0 Audio Plus. Scout GPS Link, a 3-year trial of Scout GPS Link is included with the purchase of your car. It says full embedded or integrated like navigation experience, powered by the cloud. The data for this comes through the customer's cell phone. Integrated with your vehicle. So control moving maps with your multimedia system, voice recognition, visual guidance, all or similar features to what you get with an integrated navigation system. This is a special app. Scout GPS is a commercial app. Scout GPS Link is a Toyota-specific app designed to interface to function with Intune 3.0. 3.0 App Suite. Oh, can be used stationary via your smartphone outside your vehicle. If you decide to get out and walk, you can have a map. We've included in this presentation and in the handbook slides like this slide that are designed to be reference material for you. We will talk a little bit about these slides, but for the most part, these slides are included to make this reference material available. So if you have questions about full moving maps on Scout GPS Link or what is the trial period or things like that, if you download and save the handbook version that's attached with this video, you'll have that reference, or you can always come back to the video and use the chapter links to come back to this information. So in Intune 2.0, Scout GPS Link only provided turn-by-turn navigation instructions. 3.0 gives you full moving maps with the caveat that you have to be connected via both Bluetooth and USB for that to happen. Scout GPS Link is complementary. GPS Link in Intune 3.0 comes with a 3-year trial. Traffic level indicated on dashboard cards. Scout GPS Link is part of the Intune app suite, but it must be downloaded separately. Another summary, head unit Scout GPS Link is available on head units that do not have integrated nav. That means Intune 3.0 Audio and 3.0 Audio Plus. Connection speeds, depending on your cell phone connection speed, because remember, that's the data source. Supports Android 4.4, 5, and 6, as well as iOS 8 and 9. So whether you have an Apple or an Android phone, it's on the head link. It's on the head unit. It's within the app suite section, and it needs to be on the phone. Again, remember, this is a separate download versus you have to download both Intune 3.0 and Scout GPS Link. This is another critical reference slide. Scout GPS Link tethering. To get the full moving maps function on Scout GPS Link, you have to have the cell phone connected via both USB and Bluetooth. There are options and details explained about what happens if you take a call on your cell phone, because remember, the cell phone is the data source for Scout GPS Link. So it goes back to turn-by-turn navigation. If you aren't tethered, it's not a full moving map application. It's a turn-by-turn navigation. So if you're paired via Bluetooth but no USB, there's a message that pops up to say you're only going to get turn-by-turn navigation. If you take a phone call, it will default to turn-by-turn navigation, and again, you'll have information. Once you hang up the phone, it will take advantage of the increased bandwidth from your phone and go back to full moving maps. Intune 3.0, we're talking now about the app suite. The included applications are included in the 3.0 app, and strategy and features. So app suite connects to mobile applications through the vehicle's head unit. In vehicle, the apps in the vehicle where the guests can use their Pandora, their Slacker, their NPR1, and have their cell phone communicate or link to the head unit in the car. There are companion apps, so they can manage their apps and customize, and registration features and functions. We've included a little bit of information about registration because all of these different Intune apps require some registration process. Key changes, again, this is a reference slide intended that if you have a question, you can go back and have a reference to talk about the difference between AppSuite 2.0, and the key benefits. So the installation process is slightly different. Additional apps. New AppSuite design allows faster app development. We can hopefully expect to see new apps developed and added to the AppSuite on a faster pace. Guests can manage their AppSuite through their mobile device or directly through the head unit. Launches once the guest enters the vehicle. The customer does not have to have previous AppSuite. You must start the AppSuite before you enter the vehicle. So it always had to be running. Had to be running in the background, or you would have to start it before it would interface with the head unit. Now, AppSuite 2.0 will automatically launch once they get in the car and start the car. Siri, Eyes Free, and Google Now are personal assistant type devices, and they're available, compatible with a smartphone paired with the Intune 3.0 system. So via voice recognition on the vehicle steering wheel, you can access Siri or Google Now. Responses are played back through the audio speaker. The way you get there is push and hold the off hook switch for about 2 seconds. And then you can ask it to play a particular artist, music, locations, anything you can do through Siri or Google Now. The apps that are included in your free subscription, available on all 3 levels of head units. iHeartRadio, Pandora, remember this icon will change slightly. Slacker, this icon will change slightly. Yelp, NPR One, and Scout GPS Link with moving maps. Those are the independent, the third-party apps that are connected up. The native apps, the apps that are built in or part of Intune 2.0 App Suite, are fuel prices, save destinations, sports, stock prices on Intune Audio and Audio Plus, traffic incidents and weather. Intune Premium Audio, that comes in through the HD radio connection, and Wi-Fi sign-up. So how do I get the App Suite? Purchase a vehicle with Intune 3.0 audio system. Download the App Suite from the Apple App Store or Google Play. Don't forget to download Scout GPS Link also and connect up to your vehicle. Pair your phone to your vehicle. Some important information about the actual implementation. You must install 3.0 App Suite on your phone first before the apps on the vehicle are visible on the multimedia system. If you don't have 3.0 App Suite on your cell phone already, you won't be able to see the icons for the Intune 3.0 App Suite on the vehicle head unit. Once downloaded and connected via Bluetooth, Intune 3.0 App Suite will be accessible on the multimedia system. Scout GPS Link is a separate download. It's free, but you must download it separately from the App Store or Google Play to use it on your multimedia system. And there's a new feature that no user account is required, but you must log in with your credentials for the music apps. Again, Pandora, Slacker, iHeartRadio do require a login. How do I pair my phone? I've downloaded Intune 3.0 App Suite. I have downloaded Scout GPS Link. Now I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to pair my phone. This seems very basic, but once again, as a reference piece, how do I pair my phone? The Bluetooth protocol and individual profiles available on the customer's handheld cell phone will affect the functionality of the apps in the Intune App Suite. We have a table here that shows a recommended version and a required version. If the customer has a reasonably modern cell phone, smartphone, or whatever, you can assume they probably have at least the required version. So Bluetooth protocol is the overall umbrella that covers all the individual Bluetooth profiles. Hands-free profile, HFP, is what allows you to do hands-free calling. PBAP, phone book access profile, is what transfers the phone book in mass, in a big, not one account, one phone number at a time, but all at once. OPP, Object Push Profile, is an ancient piece of software. The only reason for Object Push Profile is to allow single contact transfer. MAP, Message Access Profile, is what lets you receive your text messages. SPP, Serial Port Profile, is involved with the actual functionality of the Intune 3.0 apps. A2DP, Advanced Audio Distribution Profile, is the actual music content for Bluetooth audio, and AVRCP, Audio Visual Remote Control Profile, is the control signals that pass back and forth between. All of these profiles have a recommended version and a required version. And again, if the customer has a reasonably modern cell phone or smartphone, you can probably assume that they have at least the required version. Versions are difficult to find on the cell phone. Versions for the head unit are findable in the owner's manual and the new car features book. And remember, one of the features or functions that was available, at least on previous systems, was the head unit memorizes the profiles of all the paired phones. So if you want to go in and do a profile check, that's possible to do. Registration, again, reference information. Hopefully, you are not involved with registration, but you need to be aware that none of this stuff works if somebody doesn't go in and register accounts, set up accounts, and do all those kind of things. So Toyota has a registration portal where guests can manage all their Intune services, subscription, and trial periods. Dealers can access the registration portal through Dealer Daily, help the guests to register their accounts, set up their accounts, link their personal Pandora account, things like that. The guests can also access this through a registration portal via their Toyota owner's account. I'm emphasizing, but until somebody registers the account, makes the links, and all that kind of stuff, none of this stuff is going to work. In the previous versions of Intune, there were multiple links, multiple screens, multiple things you had to do to get all your different accounts registered. Starting June 1st, Toyota has launched a new, more user-friendly, common point of entry for all this registration process. So it's accessible via your personal computer, via your mobile phone, via your tablet. You can link your Pandora, link your Slacker, activate all your accounts, opt into your Service Connect subscription, do all those other things via this single sign-on on the account integration in the Toyota owner's credentials, and self-service for the guests. The guests can go in and manage, configure apps, and do things like that via the Toyota owner's registration portal. They can access their registration portal directly at www.mytoyotaintune.com. They can sign in with their existing Toyota owner's credentials. They can create a new account, or they can resend activation signals, because remember, we had a couple of different slides about different functions that required activation, a specific activation procedure or a specific number on the head unit. On their mobile phone screen through their Intune app suite, they can access the registration portal. There's a link to the website, and they log in with their existing Toyota owner's credentials. On their desktop, once they've logged into their account, they can view their profile by clicking the View Account button, and from their profile, they can manage vehicles, add vehicles, remove vehicles, enroll now, all those different processes or procedures. Hopefully, somebody at the dealership is helping them through this process. If the folks at the dealership have a question about how all this works, they have a handy registration simulator that they built. So the folks at the dealership can go through a clickable PDF that represents or steps them through the full enrollment process, so they can understand or train themselves, train each other on how to complete the enrollment process. It says we could train regional or dealer personnel. If you wanted to learn how this worked, this clickable PDF would help you become an expert with registration. This registration slide brings us to the end of our program. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video. I would encourage you, again, the downloadable version of the student handbook contains extra information, references, all those other things. Congratulations and good luck with Intune 3.0.